Is it right? 25-year. Bills' first year was 2000. Brady was on the team, but obviously didn't play. But either way, for the first time in 25 years, like our listeners, Mazz, basically, if you're a 30-year-old man, it's basically the first time in your life.
Correct. Good way to look at it.
What were you guys doing 25 years ago?
Covering the Red Sox. When people cared.
Yeah. Covering the Patriots. Just got kicked off the Bruins beat. Switched to the Patriots. Fortuitous. I'll tell you the story sometime, Dondero.
All
right. So just started covering the Patriots. Yeah. They just got divorced. Yeah, before I met the Wood. Met the Wood. There you go. 25 years ago.
So significant changes.
Yeah, it was a good year, actually. A lot of things worked out.
Yeah, things worked out well.
Some good changes there. All sort of panned out in the long run. First time in 25 years.
It's amazing when you think of it like that.
I mean, you ready?
Yeah.
Do you think people are ready?
No.
Can I tell you they're not? They're not. And we are in a uniquely qualified place to sort of tell that. And I find, we started to do it last week. I know it was a week away from camp. They're going to be on the field starting on Wednesday. It's a little more immediate now, but we started last week. Only thing that generated any sort of discussion was when we talked about Belichick. I mean, really, I think fans are having a hard time resetting with this reset, and you can, I guess, see why. The two giant figures finally they're turning the page. And I think they're turning the page in such an underwhelming fashion. It's not. I don't blame fans. Drake May should get you excited. Next franchise guy, 3rd overall pick, but somehow I just don't know. I don't know yet, Mazz. I don't feel it. You have any thoughts on that?
It's not imminent. That's why people know he's not going to play right out of the gate. That the transition is going to be longer than that. So, had he been, NFL ready right out of the chute, I think it might be a little different. But he's not. I think everybody knows he's not. So I think that's part of the equation. Now, look, me personally, I look at the whole thing and say, I mean, I'm always interested in the start of a new season across the board. And in this particular case, like I'll start with Mayo. Like I look at it and say it's a whole new operation. Like what's it going to look like? What's it going to sound like? How are they going to play defense? Like it's literally ground zero.
Start with that. That's got me concerned. I know what his approach is going to be. I hate it. Which isn't to say, like, you can't do it, but it's like, I've talked about him as, it's like, I just feel like we're in for the Bill Parcells to Pete Carroll redo. It has a lot of the same overtones. That they're going to, empower the guys again and treat the guys differently. Remember when Parcells left and Pete took over and the players said, finally we get to be treated like men again? Even though they just went to the Super Bowl the year before. A lot of them got a little beaten down by the way Parcells handled them. And Pete Carroll came in and gave him more freedom and everything, and it worked for like 30 seconds. And there was just this slow decline from that. And I don't know, like that. It's just too predictable to me to go from an authoritarian to a player's coach and how that's going to play out. I don't think well. Like I don't believe in it.
Well, and the other thing is Mayo, and I say this with all the love in my heart, but he doesn't know what the hell he's doing yet. He doesn't have a clue. How could he? And I don't mean that as any sort of personal commentary on him. I would say that of any rookie coach that's never led a team. How could he possibly have a clue of what he's getting into? He can't. He's never done it.
It's just starting so far away. I hate starting over at the bottom. I hate it. You know how I feel about this. Like across the board, I feel this way. It's like, because I just, you got to do everything, right? It just takes so much. And I do not believe in the top draft picks like some other people do. Like, I don't. I think you can be a good drafting team and build a championship team drafting in the teens. You don't need top 5 picks. You need a quarterback for sure. But I don't know exactly how much better your odds are. I think Michael Penix has every chance to be a better player than Drake May. Michael Penix taken 11th, whatever that was, and he's going to sit. Like, I'll predict it right now. I think Michael Penix has a better chance to be better than Drake May because he's not going to play early on. He's going to have the organization to be patient with him. He's not going to get beat to shreds. He won't have the expectations. He'll probably be stepping into a winning team. He's got a much better chance. I would much rather be the Falcons than you right now. Much rather. It's like I would even like a path they could have taken. They easily could have signed Jim Harbaugh and signed Baker Mayfield and gone forward like that. and still had the 3rd overall pick and drafted a quarterback. Like, you could be that team. You could have done that. Or you could have signed Jim Harbaugh and Kirk Cousins and still drafted Drake May. Why not? And now you have a team, now you have a season, and you can build from there. Instead, you're building from the bottom. They're the odds-on favorite to have the number 1 overall pick next year. Blah. And I don't think a lot of fans sort of feel that, and like that's what's going on there.
Yes.
Like, it's impossible. We're going to do our best. I got to invest in it. But, like, people write, or the guys that cover the team write about the cornerback position, corners. Like, who plays opposite Christian Gonzalez? It's like, when you're 3-14, what does that matter? Like, I have a hard time investing in that. When you're 3-14, it doesn't matter. Alex Barth last week, loved the kid to death. Asked him for some football takes. He said, watch out for the 3rd running back. It's going to be a factor this year. I said, my God, my kid. Oh, you poor kid.
Who's the 2nd running back?
You poor kid.
Gibson?
When you're 4-13, 5-12, it doesn't matter if your 3rd running back is Harry Schmedlap or Harold Fenifesi. What does it matter? I can't get into who's the box safety when you're 3-14. You see what I'm saying?
Of course.
Like, it just undercuts everything when you suck that bad.
I feel this way about Judon a little bit. Like, people say, what are they going to do with Judon? I wouldn't sign Judon if I were them.
I would.
Why?
I would.
I wouldn't.
I would.
And I'll tell you why. Because, again, he's coming off an injury. You're not going anywhere with him or without him. Like, what's the difference? So why commit to an aging guy who just, what was it, a pec injury or a bicep? It was something up here. So, like, I look at it and say, I'm not going to invest money in that kind of guy.
I am.
What choice is he? He's got no leverage.
Sure he does. Sit out.
Okay, sit out. I'm going to suck with you or without you.
No. Degrees of suck, Mazz. This is what this year's about. Degrees of suck.
Okay, but again, then
we have to aim for the highest possible degree of suck. And Judon... you
mean lowest possible degree of suck.
Right. Okay. I'm talking about 7 wins versus 5.
Sure.
Like, that's a big difference to me. If you're a 7-win team, there's probably a December game where if you win and 3 other teams lose, you're a game out of the wild card. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like, that to me is important.
Of course.
That to me is the definition of having a season and not having a season. Do you get after Thanksgiving where you have at least a game where if you win and these 2 or 3 other teams lose, you're there. You're a game out of the playoffs, and now every week matters. Like, that to me is the goal. So that's 7 wins. 5 wins, you're not in that conversation. Judon is one of the players to me that's a difference between it's the degree of suck. So we want a low degree of suck, right? We want the lowest degree of suck. We want the highest possible finish on the suck meter, but you know what I mean. If the teams that between 5 and 7 wins suck, I want to be on the high end of the suck or the low end of the suck using your parameters. But either way, this is where I'm at with the team.
So look,
in that case, the off corner does matter. In this case, the box safety does matter. The 3rd running back, Barthy, I'm sorry you're going to have to do on your own time still. But this is what I'm talking about. To me, it's important.
Yeah, look, I'm not telling you I want them to suck. I look at Judon purely from a business standpoint, not a football standpoint. Would he make them better? Of course. Yeah. I'm just saying that he's an aging player. What's he going to do, hold out?
Yeah, well, hold in.
Okay, but not really, because he's going to play. He's not giving up the year of service and missing the chance to get to free agency.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he'll show up. I think you have to show up by, it used to be week 10?
Right.
Or week 6, or one of those. You had to show up by week 6 or 10 to get credit with the year of service time.
So I just don't think that it's realistic that he, know.
Well, then you show up and your hamstring hurts. And you end up,
So something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think he has a lot of leverage. So from a business standpoint, if I were them, I would leverage him is what I would do. Get your ass in here and play. You have a good year. You'll hit the market. You'll make some money. Fine. You ripped up your pec or whatever it was last year. And so, we're not going to go out of our way now when there are all these questions about you. But to your point, the competitive part of it, Yes, like I don't think it's completely out of the realm of possibility that they could end up winning 7 or 8 games. I don't think it's that nuts.
So that's what I'm hoping for. In which case, again, the second corner will matter and all this stuff will matter. But I need to know we're going to have at least that kind of season. In the hunt kind of season, that third column on the playoff graphic that you get every November and December. That's the kind of season I need.
Feels pretty bleak at the moment, though, I will admit
It does.
that.
It feels bleak. It feels bleak. And it's felt this way to me for the longest time. Like, that's what we did. That we went from Belichick to the rookie linebacker coach. And the big offensive, changes. Alex Van Pelt, who's been in the league forever and has never been hired to be a play caller, he's in his mid 50s, which is just like, usually when you're that kind of coach, you get that swing, you get that opportunity a lot earlier in your career than 53 years old. Sort of feels like
Your age.
yeah, right. Thank you. Putting that in perspective. So back to where we started, first time in 25 years, you won't have Belichick on the sideline or Brady under center. And it feels that way. Unfortunately for us.
Wow, you were in your 20s when Belichick got here?
So my first year covering the Patriots was 99. I was exactly 30, call it. So I was 31 when Belichick got here. No, I was, whatever this is. But all my years are mushing together. Yes, I was just turned 30 when Bill got the job.
Wow, you were younger than Barney the Purple Dinosaur over here.
But a lot of our
Talking about
listeners,
me?
Yeah, well, I guess. I'm really not sure what I meant by that.
a lot of our listeners,
kind of came out.
listen, a lot of our listeners, practically speaking, weren't even born. Like, they weren't even fan. Like, our entire, their entire existence has been with those two guys. And now they've turned the page. And not in a good way. Like, not in the way that I would have wanted. Like, trying to stay on top, trying to stay relevant, trying to stay competitive. Instead it's like just this total reboot, reset, bottom of the league. Like, God dang it.
No wonder interest is so low. Seriously, I hadn't even thought about that until you brought it up. In all seriousness.
Which is what? Brought what up?
The idea that, again, if our demo is 25 to 54, okay, that the 30-year-old was 5 years old when Bill Belichick got here.
So really, like,
and has no idea.
For you out there to have any sort of frame of reference, perspective on on something other than this era, you've got to be like 35 years old or something. Anything lower, right? You were 10 when Bill got here. I don't really
Even older.
You know what I mean? So it's like people don't know, have no idea what this is.
No, they have no clue. None. Zero.
Doesn't it suck? But they could have done something more. They could have taken a different approach that I endorsed from the start.
Alex Van Pelt.
But here we are.
But they drafted a quarterback 3.
I know. Do you feel it? Do you feel the buzz?
I think you're right, Mazz. People don't think he's going to play. And that's why I'm not as jacked up for this season. I don't think he's going to play. He should play.
He probably shouldn't.
I think you guys are misevaluating how bad it was with Bill Belichick at the end. I mean, it was bad.
Oh, I'm not telling you he belongs to be here.
But it was. Don't tell me about Parcells to Carroll. Parcells was humming. They were at the Super Bowl. Then Carroll came in. That's a huge drop off. This team sucked.
Yeah.
Belichick had lost his way. With respect, he was lost. Now you've transitioned to a coach who there's a million question marks, but at least his unit was pretty good. He played in the league, and I hear what you're saying about the guy that was kind of in charge and he ruled with the iron fist, and now it's his friendly, happy thing. But I don't know, maybe players today connect with that more. Maybe it allows them to be at their best more so than in 1999. I'm going to leave the door open for that.
No, it's true.
And the other thing, last thing I just want to say, we're going to go break. The culture is about the quarterback now. Like Andy Reid, does he run a tight ship? I mean, he's in commercials drawing on people's face on the airplane. I mean, it's like fun, and he's eating and hamburgers. Like, Mahomes is the guy that creates the culture, and that's why, in large part, they're so successful. Reid is a genius offensively, but if May can create a culture when he starts to play...
Oh, this kid better be good.
Well, yeah, he better be. He was the third overall pick.
Better be good.
I mean...
Because they got squat. Other than that, they got squat.
They don't have squat.
They got squat.
They don't have squat.
For me to hang my hat on.
They pretty much got squat.
They don't have squats.
But
Yeah,
Dondero, you make some decent football points. I admit, I'm sort of kind of talking about the talk show as much as I am the team. Belichick sucked at the end and drove the thing into the ground, but he still was box office, He was still a lightning rod, polarizing, You could talk about him every day, and people would be interested in it. And so that's, selfishly, that's kind of what I'm talking about. For the team, it was time. There's no doubt about it. But did you have to go, from the most experienced guy just about in the history of the league to one of the least? Did you have to do that thing? I'm still not into that.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.